The regular meeting of the Mishawaka Common Council for Monday, June 20th, 2022 will please come to order. Good evening. For those of you who are in attendance this evening, we appreciate you being here. If you would, please take a moment to check your cell phone and make sure that it is on silent or vibrate, and we would appreciate that. For those of you who are participating remotely, good evening to you as well. We will ask that members of the public participating remotely place their microphone on mute during the meeting with the exception of any public hearing. At the appropriate point in the public hearing, I will invite the public to unmute their microphone for purposes of submitting such comments as they wish to make, one person at a time. All persons wishing to make public comments will be asked to first state their name and address for the record. After completing the comment, members of the public will once again be asked to place their microphone on mute, and we thank you all for your cooperation this evening. And with that, if you would, please join us in rising for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Mrs. Wade?
Here.
Mr. Hayden?
Here.
Mr. Mamalenti?
Here.
Mr. Benicki?
Here.
Mr. Emmons?
Here.
Mr. Belovich?
Here.
Mr. Compton?
Here.
Mrs. Volker?
Here.
Mr. Hicksonbaugh?
Here.
For the record, all 9 are present in the chambers.
Thank you. Approval of the minutes of our regular meeting of June 6, 2022. Are there any additions or corrections? Then hearing none, the minutes will stand approved as received from the clerk's office. Petitions, communications, remonstrance, and memorial.
Yes, Mr. President, we have the presentation of from celebrating the 50th anniversary with Sister City Shirajiri.
Thank you. Mr. Crawford, please come forward.
Thank you. It's great to be here, and it's awesome to be here with our delegation that accompanied me to our sister city. I do have a short video we made with just some different photographs and clips from the trip. I figured I'd open with that before I kind of talk about what we got out of the exchange, just because I think it'll set the mood for kind of the atmosphere of what the trip was like. Is it possible to like dim the lights?
Mm-hmm. Hold on, let me get this going.
May I ask when you went?
So we were in our sister city from June 2nd to June 11th.
Okay. Thank you, Jake.
Mm-hmm. Now I can hardly see. There we go.
追い風叫ぶ静寂を壊すの何もそれと進むの黄金の花が運ぶの優しさにあなたに再び会いに今静寂を壊すの何もそれと進むの黄金の花が運ぶの優しさにあなたに再び会いに春を告げ踊り出さ夏を見るじ春から草秋の月のぼったままるさを描いて月に風春を告げ踊ってさんだ夏を見るじ春から草秋の月のぼったままるさを描いて冬はそう隙間月に風夢は遠き幻にあなたを追いかけていた光の中で流れる旅立たない風を頼
I'd like to thank my wife for making that video for us tonight. As you probably could have gathered from the video, the purpose of this trip was not a vacation, but a cultural exchange. And it was really an awesome experience for me to be able to share that kind of cultural exchange with the members of this group. My grandfather had taken me when I was younger to Japan a couple of times, and I had a similar experience to this. And it wasn't until this trip that I really grasped the gravity of what he had done for me when I was so young. Being able to see, especially Isaiah, Jade, and Peyton grow on this trip, get to know these Japanese families they stayed with at their homes. It was really touching. I think the relationships that they built are ones that will probably last a lifetime. And I think that's really what the whole spirit of the Sister City relationship is. We want to build bridges, and being able to celebrate the 50th anniversary over there was really a special occasion. And it gave me hope that that relationship will continue for many more years to come. Some of the activities that we did, I think the highlights were being able to go to some of the elementary schools there. So Nishi Primary School, where the Sister City relationship started, with Helen Amos and Hiro Takasuna. Both teachers started a pen pal relationship with students. That was really an awesome experience to be in that building where everything began, and we were able to participate in English language class with the students. And you probably saw the video of Thomas there trying to put something on the wall. The kids had to give him directions in English, and he was blindfolded, and so they tried to get as close as they could. It was really a fun experience to see. The kids were just so excited to see people from another culture and be able to practice English language. That was a really touching day for us, and I think both Thomas and Katie would like to rekindle that pen pal relationship with the school, which is really awesome. We're really fortunate to have a lot of support from Mayor Oguchi and City Hall in Shiojuri. We were treated like royalty when we were there. They had put together a large itinerary of activities, places to see when we were together as a group. We got to tour the high school, where the students at their high school learn how to make wine, which sounds absolutely wild. But they're the only high school in the country that does that, and Shiojuri is like a wine capital of Japan. So it was really neat to see just kind of the vocational skills and things that the students learn at the high school level in their country. And it was just really nice being able to make connections with all of the different people in the host families. I know a touching moment. Sato, the host uncle for Peyton, presented him with a nice photo album at the end of their time together. It was just really awesome to see how, we live on the other side of the world. We live so far apart, but, they were able to make that really strong connection. And it's just really wonderful to be able to travel and see that. So I'm excited for, continued trips to Japan. My wife and I plan to go every 4 years, and we're working to try to set up some scholarship funds to get more high school students over. So I think, we've made it to 50 years, and I'm confident that I'm sure that we'll make it to 100. So hopefully, maybe one day Peyton will be up here delivering an address on the 100th anniversary for our sister city relationship. But I do have a gift that I'd like to present to Mayor Wood for the whole city. The gift that I'm about to present was given to us to celebrate the 50th anniversary. It is a special piece of lacquerware. So Shiojuri is known for making lacquerware items in Harajuku, which is like a kind of a district of the city. And this particular item has some unique significance in that the artist for it is the person, they make lacquerware for the Emperor of Japan.
Oh, wow.
Oh, beautiful.
So this is made out of wood, all etched in with special finishing on it. It's stunningly beautiful and a very thoughtful gift from our sister city to be adorned in our new city hall.
Can you tell us, does it say anything?
It says the 50th anniversary celebration, Sister Cities, Mishawaka and Shiojuri, June 5th, 2022.
Very nice.
Yeah, absolutely. Does anyone have any major questions about the trip or Sister City stuff? Yeah.
Dick, who's your team behind you there?
Thomas Wicker, he is a teacher at John Young, and Katie Wicker, his wife, she's a librarian. This is Isaiah and Jade, a couple. Both of them actually have worked for me at the Parks Department, both excellent students too. This is Peyton Kruger. He is a high school student, and he also happens to work for me. And then my wife, Chloe Barker. It was hard. There were 3 of us out of the Parks Department at the same time for this trip. But
We noticed that.
yeah.
Yeah.
I noticed it when I got back, so thanks for the patience, everyone.
Any other questions for Mr. Crawford or comments? Mr. Mamolante.
Thank you, Mr. President. Not a question, but more of a thanks. Thank you very much for taking time and exquisite team over to our sister city and for representing the city of Mishawaka well. It's anything like that presentation that you had just given. I'm sure we were represented extremely well, so thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. And of course, if anyone is interested in ever trying to make a trip, we have great connections and great relations. So it's actually pretty easy to set up a trip, and the hospitality there is wonderful. It's treated like royalty, so it's a very enjoyable experience.
Is next week too early?
I don't know, the plane tickets got pretty expensive when they opened their country back up. we went just in the right time.
Anything else for Mr. Crawford? Well, again, thank you. We appreciate the work that you have done to facilitate the sister city relationship. Thank you to the delegation for visiting on our behalf and for representing us so well. And then also, thank you for everyone who was involved in the recent event where we were able to host the delegation from Japan. This is one of the unique, charming elements of Mishawaka, in my opinion, and it's more than charming. It's been a valuable educational endeavor for those, hopefully, on both sides of the Pacific. So thank you to everybody for the work that you've done and the effort that you've made to continue the sister city relationship intact. And thanks for the information that you've shared with us, Mr. Crawford.
Thank you.
I also appreciate the confidence you had in letting us pass that down. Usually,
Oh, yeah.
people don't trust us with that valuable of an item, but
You
thank you
noticed we
very much.
kept an
for
eye
that.
on 'em, though.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jake.
That's not the real
And
one.
I just want to point out that in the council's conference room, we have all of the gifts that we've received from Shirajiri displayed in there. So if you want to see more, you can. If you haven't seen it yet, you can go right in here and see it.
I would also say, although we would welcome you to remain for the entire council meeting, if your schedule does not allow you to do so, now would be a good time for you to gracefully exit the council chambers, and I promise we wouldn't be offended by that. Somebody has to break the seal. You know what I'm doing. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Madam Clerk.
We have a letter from the Board of Zoning Appeals regarding their recommendations from their June 14th, 2022 meeting. Honorable members, a regular meeting of the Mishawaka Plan Commission was held. Should read the board one if I'm going to say I'm going to read the board one. A regular meeting of the Mishawaka Board of Zoning Appeals was held on the above referenced date, at which time the following use variance was considered. Appeal number 2022-13, an appeal submitted by Jors Partnership LLC requesting a use variance for 4125 Grape Road to allow microblading services in C1 General Commercial Zoning District. The board, with a vote of 3-0, recommended approval. This is signed by Carrie Myers, Administrative Planner, Secretary to the Board. We also have a letter from City Plan Commission regarding their recommendations from the June 14th meeting. Honorable members, a regular meeting of the Mishawaka Plan Commission was held on the above referenced date, at which time the following proposed ordinances were considered. Petition number 2022-03, a petition submitted by Evan Forsland requesting to rezone 1816 West 6th Street from I-1 Light Industrial District to R1 Single Family Residential District. The commission, with a vote of 6-1, forwarded an unfavorable recommendation. Petition number 2022-04, a petition submitted by Michael Young requesting to rezone 1023 West 6th Street from C1 General Commercial to R2 Two-Family Residential District. Commission, with a vote of 7-0, recommended approval. Petition number 2022-05, a petition submitted by South Bend Indoor Soccer, Inc., requesting to amend the Cass Road East University Drive planned unit development to allow a climate-controlled self-storage facility within the existing building at 1435 University Drive Court, Granger. The commission, with a vote of 6-0, recommended approval, subject to the following conditions. No outdoor storage shall be permitted. Additional landscaping shall be provided where necessary in all areas, compliant with the minimum landscaping and screening regulations. Petition number 2022-06, a petition submitted by the City of Mishawaka through its Board of Public Works and Safety and Calit Partnerships, requesting to rezone 3 parcels located between Front Street and First Street from I-1 Light Industrial and I-2 Heavy Industrial to C3 City Center Commercial District. The commission, with a vote of 7-0, recommended approval. Petition number 2022-07, a petition submitted by Balaji Hospitality Group and Smita Patel requesting to rezone 2754 Lincoln Way East from C1 General Commercial District and C7 Automobile Oriented Restaurant Commercial District to R3 Multifamily Residential District. The commission, with a vote of 7-0, recommended approval. Pursuant to Indiana Code 36-7-4-605, the City of Mishawaka Plan Commission hereby certifies to the Mishawaka Common Council the attached proposed ordinances regarding the above matters. This is signed by Carrie Myers, Administrative Planner. We also have a presentation of encumbered funds and the annual operations report for local road, streets, and bridges. No action required.
Thank you. The record will reflect that we have received information with regard to both of those items. Report of special committee. There is none this evening, so we'll move into ordinances on first reading.
Proposed ordinance number 2022-14, an ordinance amending Chapter 137 of the Municipal Code of the City of Mishawaka, Indiana, as from time to time amended, commonly known as the Zoning Ordinance of 1966 of the City of Mishawaka, Indiana. This is to rezone from I-1 Light Industrial to R1 Single Family Residential, 1816 West 6th Street.
Proposed ordinance 2022-14 will be assigned to the Land Use Planning Committee.
Proposed ordinance number 2022-15, an ordinance amending Chapter 157 of the Municipal Code of the City of Mishawaka, Indiana, is from time to time amended, commonly known as the zoning ordinance of 1966 of the City of Mishawaka, Indiana. This is to rezone from C1 to R2 to repurpose a salon and residential unit for two-family residential, 1023 West 6th Street.
Proposed ordinance number 2022-15 will be assigned to the Land Use Planning Committee.
Proposed ordinance number 2022-16, an ordinance amending Chapter 137 of the Municipal Code of the City of Mishawaka, Indiana, is from time to time amended, commonly known as the zoning ordinance of 1966 of the City of Mishawaka, Indiana. This is a PUD amendment to allow indoor climate-controlled self-storage facility as a permitted use in an existing building at 1435 University Drive Court.
Proposed ordinance number 2022-16 will be assigned to the Land Use Planning Committee.
Proposed ordinance number 2022-17, an ordinance amending Chapter 137 of the Municipal Code of the City of Mishawaka, Indiana, is from time to time amended, commonly known as the zoning ordinance of 1966 of the City of Mishawaka, Indiana. This is to rezone from I-1 and I-2 to C3 City Center Commercial to match adjacent zoning and permit future C3 uses. Vacant lots North Hill Street, west between West Front Street and West First Street.
Proposed ordinance number 2022-17 will be assigned to the Land Use Planning Committee.
Proposed ordinance number 2022-18, an ordinance amending Chapter 137 of the Municipal Code of the City of Mishawaka, Indiana, as from time to time amended, commonly known as the zoning ordinance of 1966 of the City of Mishawaka, Indiana. This is to rezone from C1 and C7 to R3 multifamily residential, to convert existing hotel into a multifamily apartment building, and construct an additional. 2754 Lincoln Waste.
Proposed ordinance number 2022-18 will also be assigned to the Land Use Planning Committee. Resolutions.
Resolution R 2022-13, a resolution of the Common Council of the City of Mishawaka, Indiana, approving a petition of the Mishawaka Board of Zoning Appeals for the property located at 4125 Grape Road, Mishawaka, Indiana. This is a use variance to allow microblading service within multi-tenant commercial strip center C1 district, 4125 Grape Road.
Thank you. We will now open the public hearing on proposed resolution 2022-13. Anyone wishing to speak in favor, if you would, come forward to the podium or unmute your microphone and begin by stating your name and address for the record. Is there anyone participating this evening who wishes to speak with respect to 4125 Grape Road? Mr. Compton.
Mr. President, I'd like to postpone this resolution until there is someone here who can speak on its behalf.
Second.
Do you have a date?
As a question, perhaps to the next regularly scheduled council meeting?
The next scheduled council meeting would be perfect.
Second.
A motion has been made and seconded to postpone the public hearing on proposed resolution 2022-13 until our next regularly scheduled council meeting. Any additional questions or comments from the council? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The matter will be postponed until our next council meeting.
Resolution 2022-14, a resolution of the Common Council of the City of Mishawaka, Indiana, in declaring dormant funds.
Thank you. This is the public hearing on proposed resolution 2022-14. Anyone wishing to speak in favor, please come forward.
Good evening, Mr. President, members of the council, Rebecca McGuire, City Controller. In preparation for the state requiring us to change our fund numbering system, it makes sense for us to clean up a number of accounts, approximately 35 funds that are no longer in use and have zero balances. So this allows us to do that and move forward with the state's new numbering system for the funds.
Thank you. Any questions for Mrs. McGuire? Thank you, Becky. Is there anyone else physically present this evening who wishes to speak in favor of the proposed resolution? If so, please come forward. Then is there anyone participating remotely who wishes to speak in favor of the proposed resolution? Is there anyone physically present who wishes to speak in opposition to the proposed resolution? Then is there anyone participating remotely who wishes to speak in opposition? Thank you. Are there any council members who wish to speak? If not, then I call for the question.
Question.
Madam Clerk, would you please poll the council?
Mrs. DeMade?
Yes.
Mr. Hazen?
Yes.
Mr. Mamalenti?
Yes.
Mr. Benicki?
Yes.
Mr. Emmons?
Yes.
Mr. Belovich?
Yes.
Mr. Compton?
Yes.
Mrs. Volker?
Yes.
Mr. Hixenbaugh?
Yes.
Resolution passes 9-0. Resolution 2022-15, a resolution of the Common Council of the City of Mishawaka, Indiana, authorizing electronic funds transfers.
Thank you. This is the public hearing on proposed resolution 2022-15. Mrs. McGuire.
Good evening again. It's best practice as vendors require electronic funds transfers to have a resolution in place that's been approved. We currently do electronic funds transfers for taxes, insurance claims and such, but there's more vendors that would like that and require that. And as you can see by the resolution, we follow all the same internal controls as we do for if we were cutting checks. So it's best practice to have this in place, so as we determine certain vendors require electronic funds transfer and we approve it, that we follow this resolution.
Thank you. Any questions for the controller? Thank you, Becky. Anyone else wishing to speak in favor of the proposed resolution who is physically present, if you would, please come forward. Then is there anyone participating remotely who wishes to speak in favor of the proposed resolution? Is there anyone in the council chambers this evening who wishes to speak in opposition? If so, please come forward. And is there anyone participating remotely who wishes to speak in opposition? Are there any council members who wish to speak? Yeah. Mrs. DeMade.
Thank you, Mr. President. Welcome to the 21st century.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments from the council? Hearing none, then I call for the question.
Question?
Madam Clerk, would you please poll the council?
Mrs. DeMade?
Yes.
Mr. Hazen?
Yes.
Mr. Mamalenti?
Yes.
Mr. Benicki?
Yes.
Mr. Emmons?
Yeah.
Mr. Belovich?
Yes.
Mr. Compton?
Yes.
Mrs. Volker?
Yes.
Mr. Hixenbaugh?
Yes.
Resolution passes 9-0. Resolution R 2022-16, a resolution of the Common Council of the City of Mishawaka, Indiana, approving the request for the Indiana State Board of Accounts to examine the financial statements prepared in accordance with generally accepted accounting practices, GAAP.
Thank you. This is the public hearing on proposed resolution 2022-16. Once again, Mrs. McGuire.
Thank you. This is required by the state every year now for cities who are under the population of 75,000. If we wish to have a GAAP audit, we need to have this resolution in place.
Thank you. Any questions for the controller? Thank you. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak in favor of the proposed resolution? If so, please come forward to the podium. Is there anyone participating remotely who wishes to speak in favor of the proposed resolution? Then is there anyone in attendance this evening who wishes to speak in opposition to the proposed resolution? Is there anyone participating remotely who wishes to speak in opposition? Thank you. Are there any council members who wish to speak? If not, then I call for the question.
Question?
Madam Clerk, would you please poll the council?
Mrs. DeMade?
Yes.
Mr. Hazen?
Yes.
Mr. Mamalenti?
Yes.
Mr. Benicki?
Yes.
Mr. Emmons?
Yes.
Mr. Belovich?
Yes.
Mr. Compton?
Yes.
Mrs. Volker?
Yes.
Mr. Hixenbaugh?
Yes.
Resolution passes 9-0.
Ordinances on second reading.
Proposed ordinance number 2022-09, an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of Mishawaka authorizing the investment of public funds pursuant to Indiana Code 5-13-9-5.
Thank you. May we have the committee report, please?
Yes, Mr. President. To the members of the Common Council, City of Mishawaka, your Committee on Budget and Finance, to whom was referred the matter of proposed ordinance number 2022-09, report that they have examined said matter and that in their opinion it should be adopted. This is signed by the entire committee, and I move for its acceptance.
Second.
A motion has been made and seconded to approve the committee report. Any additional questions or comments from the council? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. We'll now move into the second reading of public hearing on proposed ordinance 2022-09. Mrs. McGuire.
Good evening again. This is a required ordinance by the state. So I am able to, it gives me authorization to invest in banking institutions outside of our local county. I can invest statewide, and I do so with the assistance of Baker Tilly, our banking advisory firm.
Thank you. Any questions for the controller? Thank you again. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak in favor of the proposed ordinance? If so, please come forward. Is there anyone participating remotely who wishes to speak in favor? Then is there anyone in attendance this evening who wishes to speak in opposition? Anyone participating remotely who wishes to speak in opposition? Are there any council members who wish to speak? Hearing none, then I call for the question.
Question.
Madam Clerk, would you please poll the council?
Mrs. DeMade?
Yes.
Mr. Hazen?
Yes.
Mr. Mamalenti?
Yes.
Mr. Benicki?
Yes.
Mr. Emmons?
Yes.
Mr. Belovich?
Yes.
Mr. Compton?
Yes.
Mrs. Volker?
Yes.
Mr. Hixenbaugh?
Yes.
The proposed ordinance passes 9-0. Proposed ordinance number 2022-10, an ordinance transferring funds for the Motor Vehicle Highway Restricted Fund of the City of Mishawaka to the Local Road and Bridge Matching Grant Fund of the City of Mishawaka for the calendar year ending December 31st, 2022, an ordinance appropriating additional funds for the year ending December 31st, 2022. This is in the Motor Vehicle Highway Fund to the Local Bridge Fund in the amount of $975,180.65, and I do have proofs of publication.
Thank you very much. The record will so reflect. May we have the committee report, please?
Yes, Mr. President, to the members of the Common Council of the City of Mishawaka, your Committee on Budget and Finance, to whom was referred the matter of proposed ordinance number 2022-10, report that they have examined said matter and that in their opinion it should be adopted. This is signed by the entire committee, and I move for its acceptance.
Second.
A motion has been made and seconded to approve the committee report. Any additional questions or comments from the council? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. We will now open the second reading and public hearing on proposed ordinance 2022-10. Mrs. McGuire.
Good evening again. So we were awarded the $975,180.65 for our community crossing grant. We must match that out of our motor vehicle highway restricted fund. And this transfer moves that money to the local bridge and road matching grant fund. And that total is $1,950,361, which must be appropriated to spend. So we match the grant award.
Okay. Thank you. Any questions for the controller? Thank you again. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak in favor of the proposed ordinance? If so, please come forward. Is there anyone participating remotely who wishes to speak in favor? Is there anyone in attendance who wishes to speak in opposition? And is there anyone participating remotely who wishes to speak in opposition? Are there any council members who wish to speak? Hearing none, then I call for the question.
Question.
Madam Clerk, would you please poll the council?
Mrs. DeMade?
Yes.
Mr. Hazen?
Yes.
Mr. Mamalenti?
Yes.
Mr. Benicki?
Yes.
Mr. Emmons?
Yes.
Mr. Belovich?
Yes.
Mr. Compton?
Yes.
Mrs. Volker?
Yes.
Mr. Hixenbaugh?
Yes.
Proposed ordinance passes 9-0. Proposed ordinance number 2022-11, and ordinance declaring an emergency and determining the reduction of funds for the year ending December 31st, 2022. This is in the Cumulative Capital Development Fund.
Thank you. May we have the committee report, please?
Yes, Mr. President. To the members of the Common Council, City of Mishawaka, Indiana, your Committee on Budget and Finance, to whom was referred the matter of proposed ordinance number 2022-11, report that they have examined said matter, and in their opinion, it should be adopted. This is signed by the entire committee, and I move for its acceptance.
Second.
A motion has been made and seconded to approve the committee report. Any additional questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. This is the second reading and public hearing on proposed ordinance 2022-11. Mrs. McGuire.
Good evening again. Tonight, there is a reduction in the approved budget of the CCD fund. This fund we use exclusively for information technology, software, hardware, and such. We don't leave a lot of cash reserves in this fund, and this fund actually, the tax rate erodes year after year until it's reestablished. So with the little bit of tweaking with circuit breaker and the tax rate eroding, we came up short approximately $19,000. And what this reduction does is set it to our budget to match what the state approved. And you'll see later in the evening, we'll have an additional to make up that difference.
Thank you. Any questions for the controller? Thank you. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak in favor of the proposed ordinance? Please come forward. Is there anyone participating remotely who wishes to speak in favor? Is there anyone in attendance who wishes to speak in opposition? Is there anyone participating remotely who wishes to speak in opposition? Then is there any council member who wishes to speak? If not, then I call for the question.
Question.
Madam Clerk, would you please poll the council?
Mrs. DeMade?
Yes.
Mr. Hazen?
Yes.
Mr. Mamalenti?
Yes.
Mr. Benicki?
Yes.
Mr. Emmons?
Yes.
Mr. Belovich?
Yes.
Mr. Compton?
Yes.
Mrs. Volker?
Yes.
Mr. Hixenbaugh?
Yes.
Proposed ordinance passes 9-0. Proposed ordinance number 2022-12, an ordinance declaring an emergency and determining the expenditure of additional funds for the year ending December 31st, 2022. This is additional fund appropriation and seated in the total amount of $169,036. And I do have proof of publication.
Thank you. May we have the committee report, please?
Yes, Mr. President. To the members of the Common Council, City of Mishawaka, your Committee on Budget and Finance, to whom was referred the matter of proposed ordinance number 2022-12, report that they have examined said matter, and in their opinion, it should be adopted. This is signed by the entire committee, and I move for its acceptance.
Second.
A motion has been made and seconded to approve the committee report. Any additional questions or comments? Hearing none, then all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. This is the second reading of public hearing on proposed ordinance number 2022-12. Mrs. McGuire.
Hello again. As mentioned in the previous ordinance, we had to reduce the budget in the Cumulative Capital Development Fund, and so we are we are making that amount available out of our seated fund. So the IT department stays whole in their budget of $700,000. So that is the additional for the $19,036. I'm also requesting an additional budget appropriation in the consulting line. We've had a number of items come up this year. We've been working on our website with our new vendor Hurons. We've done a salary study, and also when the state switched to outsourcing our financial statements, so that has cost us a little bit extra in the consulting fees with Baker Tilly. So working with a new outside firm rather than State Board of Accounts, there's been a little extra legwork. So all these things added up, so we needed to boost that budget line.
Thank you. Any questions for the controller? Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Is there anyone else who wishes to speak in favor of the proposed ordinance? If so, please come forward. Is there anyone participating remotely who wishes to speak in favor of the proposed ordinance? Is there anyone in attendance who wishes to speak in opposition? And is there anyone participating remotely who wishes to speak in opposition? Are there any council members who wish to speak? If not, then I call for the question.
Question.
Madam Clerk, would you please poll the council?
Mrs. DeMade?
Yes.
Mr. Hazen?
Yes.
Mr. Mamalenti?
Yes.
Mr. Benicki?
Yes.
Mr. Emmons?
Yes.
Mr. Belovich?
Yes.
Mr. Compton?
Yes.
Mrs. Volker?
Yes.
Mr. Hicksonbaugh?
Yes.
Proposed ordinance passes 9-0. Proposed ordinance number 2022-13, an ordinance declaring an emergency and determining the expenditure of additional funds for the year beginning December 31st, 2022. This is in Civil City Personnel Services in the amount of $273,295, and I do have proof of publication.
Thank you. May we have the committee report, please?
Oh, sorry, that's me. To the members of the Common Council of the City of Mishawaka, your Committee on Budget and Finance, to whom was referred the matter of proposed ordinance number 2022-13, report that they have examined said matter and that they're in opinion it should be adopted. This is signed by the entire committee, and I move for its acceptance.
Second.
Thank you. A motion has been made and seconded to approve the committee report. Any additional questions or comments? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. This is the second reading of public hearing on proposed ordinance 2022-13. Mrs. McGuire.
And this is my last one on the agenda. So as you probably recall, last year during our budget ordinance time, a budget needs to be passed, needs three readings, 3 meetings, and a salary ordinance needs 2 meetings. Civil city salaries were adjusted during budget time, so there was not enough meetings to increase the budget to go from 2% salaries to 5% salaries. So what this ordinance does is correct the budget, add the additional funds in the 2022 budget to cover those approved salaries for the 2022 budget.
Thank you. We will have to check the archives, but I think you may have just set a record for most consecutive presentations to the council in the history of the city of Mishawaka. So
Still
thank
to
you.
be determined if this was a good plan or not.
Thank you for your work on all of these items. And with that, are there any additional questions for the controller? Thank you. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak in favor of the proposed ordinance? If so, please come forward. Is there anyone participating remotely who wishes to speak in favor? Is there anyone in attendance who wishes to speak in opposition? And is there anyone participating remotely who wishes to speak in opposition? Are there any council members who wish to speak? Mrs. Volker.
Thank you. I just wanted to echo Mr. Hicksonbaugh's comments. That was a lot of work. So thanks for putting all that together, you and your team.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, then I call for the question.
Question.
Madam Clerk, would you please poll the council?
Mrs. DeMade?
Yes.
Mr. Hazen?
Yes.
Mr. Mamalenti?
Yes.
Mr. Benicki?
Yes.
Mr. Emmons?
Yes.
Mr. Belovich?
Yes.
Mr. Compton?
Yes.
Mrs. Volker?
Yes.
Mr. Hicksonbaugh?
Yes.
Proposed ordinance passes 9-0.
Thank you. Privilege of the floor. At this time, members of the public are invited to speak with respect to non-agenda items only under privilege of the floor. Hearing none, then we will move into.
Came from out of nowhere.
Mr. Mayor.
Mr. President, council members, Dave Wood, Mayor, here to report about something you may have already heard on the news today, but we had a significant water main break on North Main Street, Mishawaka. Happened sometime around noon. We got the call, the reports, standing water. I happened to be out there right about the time it was occurring. Water had heaved the pavement like a wet paper bag. It was literally seeping out every crack for 50 to 100 feet or so. It caused some pretty significant standing water. The road had buckled in excess of a foot in some cases. Received a full response from the city of Mishawaka, multiple departments, from water, sewer, fire department, central services, and others, engineering. So crews got to work immediately. They had to insert a new valve, in which case they had to dig down 5 feet to where this 8-inch water main is located. They got the valve inserted and functional. They have since located the location of the break. Kind of resembled an archaeological dig, but they have found the failure. It was substantial. Water service has been interrupted for about two blocks along Main Street. The repairs will go on around the clock, but water service should be restored in about 2 hours or so. So our crew has done an outstanding job. The road is damaged beyond repair, really from sidewalk to sidewalk, so it will require a new section of pavement. That work still has to be assessed, but will be ongoing from tonight going forward. So for the next few days, Main Street is not passable. So we encourage all of our motoring public to use McKinley and Grape to get around, and also Fur to avoid that area. It's only open to local traffic. But just want to share with you not only the news of the day here, but how proud I am of our crew for just really going into action immediately and taking care of that. That's the difference between cities that are well-run and cities, in some cases, that struggle to provide basic utilities, and ours provides them at an exceptionally high level.
Thank you for the update, and please pass along our appreciation to all involved for their proper response to this as well. Any additional questions or comments?
Yes.
Mr. Belovich.
Mayor, when we have a damage like that that's not caused by an act of God, is there any insurance coverage for any of that at all?
Well, it's all city property for the most part. We'll make it better than we found it. I can promise you that. So, but it's, it's one of those things at our expense.
Okay.
And we have a budgeted amount that, takes into account that these things happen. And so, and while they've happened before, this is the biggest one that most of us have ever seen.
Mrs. DeMay.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Mayor, do we have a timeline on when it might be fixed? I know they just got out there. They just are still assessing the situation, but is there
Right.
any type of?
So most important is to repair the water main. That should happen within the next couple hours or so, and we'll start to restore service tonight to residents. That's the most important, thing that needs to happen is restoring water to our residents. After that, then we have to get the road crew in. Obviously, curbs were damaged, sidewalk was damaged, plus the bed of the road. Those things don't happen immediately,
Right.
so it's going to take several days to repair all of that.
Okay, great, thank you.
We'll keep you posted on timelines.
Thank you. Mr. Compton.
Thank you, Mr. President. I think that you answered my other questions. Really, you don't know. I know there's residents that live along Main Street that now have no way out of their driveway. And I'm just curious as to how, I'm sure that the accommodations will be made as quickly as possible, so.
So we did make accommodations already and removed cars out of the most impacted driveways so that they can at least get to where they need to go. There's
Sure.
a camping trailer and a camping trip.
Saw
and,
that,
yeah,
saw
so
that on the news, yeah.
Yeah. That's,
But he seemed okay,
Yeah.
is what it is.
Yeah. Well, and our commitment is that we will restore any of the damage that had been caused, even up into property areas.
Sure.
So,
Thank you, Mayor.
and we'll restore the service. That's
Thank you.
top priority.
Mr. Mamolenti.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Mayor, for that presentation.
Welcome.
I know you had mentioned that you identified the failure. I'm sure it's still being assessed, but is there anything you can pinpoint where perhaps maybe from the manufacturer side of
Well,
the valves or
it's-
pipes, or?
If it's a manufacturer that's been in the ground since about the 1950s, we probably won't find them around. But, you know, we have had a couple of breaks of that main on Main Street there. It just happened to be the worst possible location. But, you know, not real sure other than it's a 70-year-old pipe. And it holds up pretty well. But, you know, as far as service goes right now, we're seeing a lot of service, a lot of demand. For water with the heat and with the, you know, demand from our citizens, but also, you know, temperature fluctuations tend to create some of these issues too. Don't know the cause of it, but it was a pretty massive breach.
Makes sense, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments for His Honor? Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak under privilege of the floor? All right, thank you. Now, we will move into unfinished business, of which there is none. New business. Is there any new business to come before the council?
Mr. President, I ask if we hold for just a moment. We had someone come into the council chambers, and I wonder if it's someone from Salon Studio Suites. It is not.
It was worth a try, Mr.
It
Council.
was worth a try, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Mamalenti.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just wanted to make an announcement that we had our neighborhood Twin Branch meeting this past week, very well attended. Wanted to give special thanks to the Hazens for providing the food and delicious cookies and chips. But mainly wanted to thank our guest speaker, Mr. Mayor Dave Wood, did an outstanding job as usual. I know the residents and the attendees learned several new details of what's to expect in the near future, as did I. I always learn something new, so thank you again for providing your time and information.
Thank you. Mr. Emmons.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd also like to mention our last neighborhood meeting that we had well attended for Ambassador Donnelly. He gave an excellent presentation, both humorous and down to business. And I think everybody that was there enjoyed it. The mayor, our mayor was there, Debbie was there, and like I say, everybody had a good laugh at times. There was some seriousness in the presentation, and Mr. Ambassador Donnelly was not only there, but with his wife, and a lot of friends were there, past friends, new friends, and that. And I'm sorry that the council wasn't there to see the presentation and to meet Mr. Ambassador Donnelly. I know some of you already know him, but he did a fabulous job. And I want to thank everybody that was there, especially our mayor and Debbie for that. And we had 8 dozen donuts, and they all went. So thank you.
Thank you. Any other new business to come before the council? Madam Clerk,
You wanted to change the council meeting date?
I'm just getting to that. Due to some scheduling issues on the part of the council, at this point, the chair would entertain a motion to change the date for our second regular meeting in July from Monday, July 18th to Monday, July 25th.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. A motion has been made and seconded to change our second regular meeting in July from Monday, July 18th to Monday, July 25th. Any additional questions or comments from the council? Hearing none, then all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. The meeting will be changed until Monday. Our second meeting will take place on Monday, July 25th. And just a reminder for those in attendance and who may be viewing the meeting, due to the 4th of July holiday, under our standard procedure, our next regularly scheduled council meeting will take place on Tuesday, July 25th at 7 p.m. here in the chambers. So, in case we don't see everyone before
July
then,
5th.
July 5th.
You said 25th.
That would be a problem.
Well, we are meeting on the
Tuesday, July 5th will be our first council meeting in July, and Monday, July 25th, will be our second council meeting in July, both at 7 p.m. here in the council chambers. Now that we have that confusing matter out of the way, any other new business to come before the council? Hearing none, then a motion to adjourn would be in order. We are adjourned. Thank you, folks.